Well, alright, as you see it, I have another project for another customer. Another Sanyo. These are getting harder and harder to find. So, same feller sent me two of them. And this is number 2 out of the others. So, as you can see, we got an issue. We got all this broke off right here. I don't know how much of it is actually broke on this side. I don't know. Does not appear. Doesn't look like. I'll have to check across here, see if that's a break or not. But that doesn't look too broke up. But then you've got it broken completely across there. Sometime in its life, I don't know why, but they put capacitors out here and ran wires to where they go. So that's going away for darn sure. And then we've got this little piece here that we've got to reattach. So luckily on the Sanyo, I've got some parts, chassis laying around, so if there's any of these parts that are broken and I don't have brand new ones for, I will have parts, so that's not a big deal. So yeah, and also on this one, the sound amp's cracked, so I'm gonna have to take and piece it back together as well, but we'll make it work. So got a lot of work ahead of me. First thing I got to do is I got to clean it off a little bit, and then I got to take a bunch of the parts up so I can expose the traces, and also make it to where when I push this back together and kind of screw it to the bench here, that I can get it to line up about as perfect as I can get it, because I can't see the other side. I'm going to take the flyback off. I'm going to take the side cage off right here with the horizontal output transistor, and that way that this is not a weight on it, and I can move it and around where I need to. So I guess probably ought to get started. So I'm going to start taking things apart. We'll glue her up, and we'll let that glue set for, I don't know, anywhere between 8 and 10 hours, 12 hours, something like that, and then I'll come back to it. Seems like I got to screw it here to my bench. Kind of lose my bench. Now I might go out and get me a board. Might try to find me a board this time and put it on the board instead of screwing it to the bench. That way I can take it on and off. So, alright, well, let's get started. Alright, well, here we go. I got the flyback off and the side rail off with the horizontal output transistor. And I've gone through and I've desoldered a few components and stuff to move traces or broken pieces and stuff out of the way. Unfortunately, that's going to make a little more gap underneath from placing in places, but that's what you do. Up here you can see it's already broken away. That little piece is gone. It's not worth putting it back anyway. So I'm going to fill that in with some glue, and then I'm going to glue all the way along and all the way down here, and then I'm going to go through and get that piece, put some glue around it, and I'm going to let her set up. After that, I'll probably start on the sound amp here. Do the same thing. I'll start desoldering pieces along the line. So we'll get to that in a little bit. As you can see, I've got it mounted down to the desk. I've got some drywall screws in the holes and stuff that are already used for support, and it's pretty much on the bench. Everything is pretty locked into place and good to go. So let's take our Gorilla Glue and start applying a little bit with a screwdriver so we can get it into places we need it to, and smooth it out a little bit and let her set up. Alright, there we go. I got the sound amp, got some glue on it. It goes all the way right along here. It goes all the way across, right along here, and out to the corner. So I got 3 screws in it to hold it together, and all nice and tight. So we'll let her sit and let the glue do its thing. So I'll come back 10-12 hours later. It should be set up enough. I will have to drill out some of the holes, some of the glue where it goes down and it sets, but that's just the nature of the beast. So got her all glued up, so we'll get her put back together. Alright, well, it's been pretty near close to 24 hours on this one, so hopefully it's pretty good. As you can see, you got all the glue along there. Hopefully you can see it. And then I've got the glue line that's going around this way, and the one that goes all the way up along here. So let's take off the sound amp and see how that turned out. I don't know, because I ain't taking it off yet. Alright, well, there we go. Sound amp looks good. I mean, really, if you didn't know it wasn't cracked, it'd be very hard to kind of tell. But it goes along here and up there. So, yeah, did pretty good. So I'll patch all those traces and do the cap kit and see how it runs. So let's take the chassis off the bench here. Take a bunch of screws out of this one. That's all of them, I think. Yep. Alright, moment of truth. How did we do? Well, I'll tell you what. That's pretty good. You got the crack right along here. Comes over to here. And then it splits right here and right along there. And that's a pretty good tight fit. So hopefully it won't be too terribly hard. Now what I got to do is I got to go through and pull all the components to be able to sand down the traces so I can start patching. It's going to take me a good while to do all this, so I better get started. But it's looking real good for a glue job. You can see it flex and whatnot, but I'll go ahead and I'll use some old header pins and stuff like that to bridge some of the bigger traces and stuff. That way it's got pretty good meat on it. And I got a couple places I can do that, not too many. The rest of them are going to be smaller cap leads and some nice big solder trails to give it a little bit of stiffness and rigidity. So let's get started. Alright, well, after 3 or 4 hours of sitting here, as you can see, I believe I have it all stitched back together. Now, did I get everything? Oh, I don't know yet. Gotta fire it up and see. But it did come over here a little bit, so I went ahead and patched a couple places over here. And like I say, you can see it's all back together. Got it all glued up. Fly back on. Got the bracket for the horizontal output transistor back on. Got that all soldered back in. And did the cap kit on it. Did the reflow. Changed the B+ pot and filter cap and all that goodness. So we shall see what happens. I'm gonna hook her up and see if we get a pop and a crackle or we get a bunch of nothing. Alright, now we're gonna work on the soundboard. Not too much to do on this one. A little bit clean up. Got to take some couple parts out of the way, give it a good scrape down, bridge some traces, do the cap kit. So not real hard on the sound amp on this one. Take a little bit of time, but we'll be good. So let's get started. Alright, got her all patched up. It goes from right here and all along, as you can see, where all the patching goes, and right up here. So got it all done, got it all reflowed, got it all capped up. So it is good to go. So another Sanyo amp rides again. Alright, well, got good news. Here it is. We have another 19-inch Sanyo. This is chassis number 2 for Brad S. Good hard repair on this one. A bunch of trace repair. The chassis was all cracked up, as you saw earlier. Put a cap kit on it. D401, D454, TR211, VR351. Cleared some bridge solder joints from previous repair, and repaired a leg on IC601. Fired it up, and it looks fantastic. All controls work as they should. Everything's been adjusted to this too, so it'll have to be readjusted when it gets back home. But as you can see, it looks fantastic. It's already run through its burn-in test period, so I'll get it packed up and ready to ship out. So, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them at the bottom of this video, or shoot me an email at thearcadebuffet@gmail.com, or visit my site, thearcadebuffet.com. Thanks, and see you soon.